It's 6 o'clock.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this evening, allegations of extortion, harassment trail protest of a bad state of Eleme Road. Benin Republic files fresh charges against Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Igboho. Nigerian Bar Association sues President Buhari, NCC over Twitter suspension. CBN bans sales of Forex to Bureau de Change operators. And on the foreign scene, United Nations says food aid will run out in Tigray by Friday. I am Carl Orakwue with the news. Our youths from Eleme and Ogoni continue their protests today over the bad state of Eleme Road. Our correspondent reports that heavy-duty trucks were used to block the Akbajo and Eleme refinery junctions. Our protesters carried drums and placards to express their frustration over the federal government's failure to fix that section of the east-west road. Some of the protesters vowed to remain on the road until their demands are met. They said no military intervention can make them stop the protest.
We continue to stay on the road. In fact, we are bringing more canopies. We want to kill cow, we want to cook on the streets. We slept here yesterday and we continue to sleep here. We are not worried, we are not afraid of the military.
This is the treasure base of the nation. The wealth is there, everything is there, but it's not just working. So we came out to appeal to the federal government that they should come and fix this road for us.
We are not afraid that security people will come, and even if they come, they won't stop us until something is done to this road.
And so every day our people keep dying. Ordinarily, if you want to go to Gokana or Opobo, Bori, Calabar, a place that would have taken you 40 minutes will take you 6 hours. This is injustice. A place that would have taken you 1 hour will take you 24 hours. This is cruelty. And we cannot continue this way.
Meanwhile, some stranded residents seen trekking long distances say they support the protest. They said before now they spend long hours in traffic due to the bad state of the road.
I feel very good because the road is very bad. Even though it takes us 1 week for us to trek and the road is okay, we are very happy.
Before I was even born, this issue has been there. And now, look at me, I even have babies now, still suffering the same thing. I want it to be done. As in, this one should be the last one we will suffer. We suffered a lot.
The protest is called for. Me personally, I'm willing to go through it. I live down here. I know what we pass through because of the roads. It's been hell. People have died on this road just because of negligence. I'm happy we're having it. It's painful, but we should go through the pain for a while, and hopefully they'll respond.
Also, the spokesperson of the River State Civil Society Organization, Solomon Lenu, is among the protesters, while stating the demand of the protesters, wondered why the federal government is not taking the construction of the road seriously.
The demands are very simple. Construct the east-west road, the Ogoni section of the east-west road from Eleme Junction down to Trailer Park to the level it should be. This is by no small means, one of the hubs of the economic activity of Nigeria. For over the years, this road has been in a deplorable condition to a level that currently as we speak, across the country, there is massive infrastructural development in road construction particularly. But one will wonder why the area, the particular road upon which 40% arguably of the economic life of this country, where it's passing through, is left in the state of deploration as it is.
In the meantime, some drivers of heavy-duty trucks have accused some of the protesters of extorting money from them yesterday night. The drivers told our correspondent that the protest is justified, but some of the protesters are using the opportunity to commit crime.
The protest, whether they protest now for our own good and for their own good too. But now the way when they call they use and they intimidate person. Yesterday now most of us now they call even they use wood, they beat person. They even break some people glass.
Yesterday night, 7 guys come here and they collect some of our phone and the money. Don't like that one, but the other one protest of that load construction. We like that one, it's okay for us. Let them put the load in order.
They destroy my tire. And yesterday night, we reach here at the beginning, they collect 1,000 naira. They beat us. Nobody sleep. I don't support. Let them come do this and go. I'm not government. Let government do their road.
It's not be say we there against the protest. But wetin we dey against na the tire wey be say they're less. They're not less than normal. They come, they comot the valve, they throw away the valve. That one na wickedness. Because no be we be the government. All of us now they suffer for the road.
However, environmental rights activist Celestina Koweri clarified the issue of protesters deflating tires of heavy-duty trucks.
Some of those tanker drivers heard of the information that there will be a protest. They wanted to move, and they were caught up in the traffic. So there are trucks carrying very heavy equipment and materials. So if you stand on the tire for so long, your tire will fall. You cannot touch somebody's property now. It's a peaceful protest. Don't touch persons. Don't touch their properties. They are carrying very heavy metals and material from the seaport and everywhere. We are going to see what we can do to contribute money and buy like 2-3 goats, put a canopy there, bring mortar pieces, and we will be there to, because nobody will bring food for us there, we will be there to cook and eat.
Orakwue also questioned the sincerity of the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Orakwue, in carrying out projects with the Niger Delta region.
I want to ask the Minister for Niger Delta, what actually is his duty as a Minister of the Federation? Because as at the last count, I can never remember, except I am told now, I can never remember where I can vividly point out one project that has been executed by the Ministry of Niger Delta, from Bayelsa to Cross River, from Ondo to Rivers, from Abia to Delta, from Edo to Akwa Ibom. The only time you can hear of the Minister Ababio speaking is when it has to do with NDDC. And to the best of my knowledge, NDDC has its own budget, different from that of the Ministry of Niger Delta. So it is something that everybody within Niger Delta should begin to ask questions what is happening.
To apologise on the mix-up in the order of that voice clip. Now, moving on, the Nigerian Army has started a one-week combat support arms training, COSAT, for senior officers in Port Harcourt. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, during the opening ceremony at the Obi-Wale International Centre in Port Harcourt, said the training will equip the military with modern skills to fight crime.
Against this background, that I commend the choice of the theme for this training week. It is emphasized that this will broaden the Nigerian Army horizon in exploring better ways of addressing the security challenges with emphasis on local content and indigenous technology in our equipment acquisition. In tackling the challenges of 21st century, there is need for resilience, which the Nigerian Army has proven for safeguarding and sustaining the territorial integrity of the nation. This has been made possible through joint effort with shelter services and collaboration with other security agencies in the country.
Lieutenant General Yahaya also explained the role the combat support arms training has played in reducing insurgency across the country.
I'm glad to observe the significant progress made by the combat support arms in patronizing local vendors. A case in point is the domestication of production of some of our equipment currently deployed for operational use. This, alongside other innovations and inventions, have further enhanced the Nigerian Army's capacity and capability at defeating the adversary. And the intelligence improving capacity and tracking methods which have led to the arrest and neutralization of many criminals are all pointers to the continuous effort of the combat support arms.
Host and commander of the Nigerian Army Signal Corps, Brigadier General Abiodun Wolabi, also spoke about the significance of the week.
The Combat Support Arms Training Week is an annual Nigerian Army event that provides a platform for personnel of the Combat Support Arms to interact and exchange ideas towards enhancing their performances. Choice of this theme is in line with the federal government's Executive Order 5 on development and promotion of local content. Combat Support Arms Training Week will further afford the Combat Support Arms a platform to discuss best practices in their areas of specialization and technical skill sets needed to be more effective during conduct of operations.
Correspondent Sebi Oruwari reports that the theme of this year's COSAT Week is building the capacity of the combat support arms towards optimizing the utilization of contemporary Nigerian Army. In the meantime, Governor Nyesom Wike says the Rivers State government will again hand over 11 new fully equipped armored gun boats to the Nigerian Army. Governor Wike made this known while delivering his remarks at the opening ceremony of COSAT 2021 week.
For us, the quality, operational capacity, and competence of our armed forces is contingent. That is why we have always been available to render whatever support we can give to advance the operational capability of the armed forces. As a matter of fact, the 11 new armored-rated gunboats we recently committed to procuring for the Army and Navy formations in the state are underway, and we will soon invite the Chief of Army and Naval Staff to come over and take physical possession of these gunboats as part of our contributions to strengthen the offensive and defensive operations capabilities on our waterways.
Governor Wike, however, urged the federal government to ensure that the Nigerian army is equipped with the modern technology to fight crime.
All over the world, countries are rapidly modernizing their armies, increasing their weapon systems lethality, and strengthening the efficiency and combat readiness in response to the increasingly changing nature of the modern time battlefield. Nigeria cannot be different. Our national strategic goal in this regard, therefore, should be to create and have an entirely self-reliant defense industrial sector that is driven substantially by local technological input. This will require increasing the national defense and security budget and mobilizing adequate resources.
A Benin Republic has filed fresh charges against Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Igboho, who was arrested in the country last Monday. Ibrahim Salami, one of the Benin Republic-based lawyers of Igboho, said Igboho was further remanded to allow police to conduct a thorough investigation into the charges, which included illegal migration, dubious connivance with immigration officers, and an attempt to cause civil unrest. The Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, has sued President Muhammadu Buhari and the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, over the suspension of Twitter in Nigeria. The association in the suit filed at the Federal High Court in Lagos said no law criminalizes the use of Twitter in Nigeria. It urged the court to rule that the ban on Twitter is a violent breach of the right to freedom of expression and the press. As ahead in the news this evening, federal government to sanction returning passengers who abscond from quarantine facilities. To stay tuned.
Democracy is the freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Nigeria Info opens the mic.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. The federal government says it will sanction returning passengers who have come from quarantine facilities. Minister of Health Osagio Hanire told journalists in Abuja that passengers from high-risk countries who have come from facilities where they were quarantined will be prosecuted.
It is disturbing that despite evidence of the emergence of a third wave, citizens continue to refuse in large numbers to adhere to public health advisories. The Federal Ministry of Health Point of Entry COVID-19 response has been continuously monitoring passenger arrivals, especially from high-risk countries like India, Turkey, Brazil. And this process has been an arduous one. Port health staff have continued to report a trend of abscondment of quarantine passengers, an act which can be detrimental to pandemic response and public health safety.
Meanwhile, Nigeria has confirmed 213 new cases occurring of the virus and 2 new deaths in various parts of the country. The NCDC said the new cases were reported in 12 states on Monday. The federal government has cautioned staff against revealing classified information to unauthorized persons, stressing that severe sanctions await any such act. The Permanent Secretary State House, Tijani Umar, handed down the caution on Tuesday while observing the administration of the official oath of secrecy on staff of the State House.
Due to deployment of staff and to retirement, we discovered that a number of our officers need to be placed under the radar so that they will be aware that the jobs that they are holding and the kind of documents or information they are holding from day to day are so important and must be safeguarded. And the breach of such documents would take away from the delivery of service. We have not had any breach. We don't anticipate to have any breach, but then it's our duty to let them understand that if there is any, that also includes after they have left government service. That will be investigated and then the appropriate punishment will be given.
The oath was administered on 37 staff of the presidency by Justice Hamzat Moazu of the FCT High Court. The Water Producers Association of Nigeria, WAPAN, and Association of Table Water Producers of Nigeria, ATWAP, have commended the Rivers State Ministry of Water Resources for sanitizing water production in the state. A joint statement signed by chairmen of the associations, Egberi Odiri-Maxon and Agape Onu, said the recent clampdown on some sachet water factories in Diob area of Port Harcourt by the ministry will ensure sanity in the water production business in Rivers State. The statement also clarified that the recently sealed factories are not members of both associations and encouraged the public to only buy water that's produced by members of the associations. The statement also called on all water producers to ensure that high standards are maintained in their factories to avoid the risk of being sealed. The statement further commended the Commissioner for Water Resources and Rural Development, Tamino Sisigogo and his team for the milestone recorded so far in the sector and pledged their unflinching support to him and his team in their quest to sanitize and eliminate quacks in the water sector of the state. In business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it has ended the sales of Forex to Bureau de Change operators. CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele was speaking during the meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee in Abuja. Emefiele said international bodies, including some embassies and donor agencies, have been complicit in illegal forex transactions and have hindered the flow of foreign exchange into the country.
Our Bureau de Change operators have abandoned the original objective of their establishment, which was to serve retail end users who need $5,000 or less. Instead, they have become wholesale dealers to the tune of millions of dollars per transaction. They have reneged and become somewhat greedy, recalcitrant, with abnormally high profits from these sales, while ordinary Nigerians have been left to feel the pain and therefore suffer.
Emefiele also read out some of the resolutions of the Monetary Policy Committee.
MPC voted to 1. Retain MPR at 11.5%, 2. Retain asymmetric corridor at plus 100 and minus 700 basis points around the MPR, 3. Retain the CRR at 27.5%, and 4. Retain the liquidity ratio at 30%.
In entertainment news, American actress Issa Rae has married her longtime boyfriend Luis Diame in a private wedding ceremony which held at the south of France. Rae teasingly confirmed this on her Instagram page as she shared pictures of her wedding, calling it an impromptu photo shoot. In sports news, Moroccan heavyweight boxer Younis Bala attempted to bite David Nyika's ear during his defeat to the New Zealander at the Tokyo Olympics today. The 22-year-old was subsequently disqualified for sportsmanlike behavior. A Tokyo 2020 statement called Bala's actions intolerable.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
The head of UN's World Food Programme, David Beasley, has warned that food aid in Ethiopia's Tigray region will run out this Friday and has called for more supplies to be allowed in immediately. Beasley said 170 food trucks were being held up in the neighbouring Afar region, where fighting has been taking place in recent days. Hundreds of thousands of people in Tigray are living in famine-like conditions. International calls for dialogue and a ceasefire have had no impact. And that does it here on the news this evening. But before we go, here's a quick look at the major stories. Earlier on, we told you allegations of extortion and harassment have trailed protests over the bad state of Eleme Road. Benin Republic has filed fresh charges against Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Igboho. The Nigerian Bar Association has sued President Muhammadu Buhari and the NCC over Twitter's suspension in the country. The CBN has stopped the sale of Forex to Bureau de Change operators, and from the foreign scene, you heard the United Nations has said that food aid will run out in Tigray region of Ethiopia by Friday. The news was edited by Martha Okere. The contact our newsroom on 0818 900 0017 for eyewitness news and breaking news stories. Cloudy weather is expected in Port Harcourt this evening. I am Carl Orakwue. Goodbye.